Hi everyone, this is Brian with ForexTradeAlarms.com, and I wanted to show you a very interesting video this morning. It's actually going to be touching on Bollinger Bands. I've set up a Euro Dollar 1 hour chart, and I'm going to insert the Bollinger Band indicator on this chart, and hopefully you'll be able to see how this indicator can help you grab some extra pips and maybe even determine when the market's going to do a little reversal. First of all, we want to go up to the toolbar of our MetaTrader 4 platform, the Insert button. Click that, insert indicators, and then go over to Trend, and then finally select Bollinger Bands. Okay, and to start, you can go ahead and leave the default settings as they are. Period of 20, shift of 0, deviations of 2, applied to close. For this purposes, I'm going to make the colors orange-red, and I'm going to make them nice and thick so you can see exactly what I'm doing here. So just click OK, and it will input the Bollinger Bands on your chart. And again, you're probably not going to want to trade this way with a bright orange like this, but for the purposes of this video, I think this is going to be helpful. The first thing I want to touch on as far as the Bollinger Band indicator is concerned, there's something called the bounce. And basically what happens with the bounce is when the price goes down and touches either one of the upper or lower bands, the price has a tendency to bounce back toward the middle of the bands. Okay, in this instance here, you'll see how the price actually closed below the Bollinger Band, so it's touched the Bollinger Band, went down a little further, but it did not close below it. Okay, so if you see a candle like this where it's touched the Bollinger Band but did not close below the Bollinger Band, there's a very, very good chance that it's going to bounce back up toward the center of the Bollinger Band. And you see how it ended up down here and then bounced back all the way up through here, eventually up through here. So whenever you see it touch a Bollinger Band, either at upper end here, it actually closed up here, opened up here, pretty much went straight down from there. So it didn't have the sustained movement to actually continue going up above the band. So it bounced back down to the center of the bands, and it just actually did kind of a double bounce here. Now, another thing I want to point out too is something called the squeeze. You see how there's over on the left part of my screen here, there's a big selection. There's just a wide price action here. In this middle section here on my screen that I'm circling, the price is kind of consolidated into this range. It's kind of been squeezed together, and the Bollinger Bands are much closer together than they are over here. See how they're very, very far apart, and the price is just all over the place. Okay, it's actually trending downward. Here it's consolidating, and right here, on this candle right here, the price is closed above the upper Bollinger Band. Okay, wait and see what the next candle does, and it actually closes above the Bollinger Band as well. So now you can trade off these entries. You're probably going to want to add, probably one of your favorite indicators, maybe a Stoch or RSI or something like that. But in this case, the price is closed above the Bollinger Band, and there's a very good chance that the price is going to continue up above this band. Okay, and sure enough, it has. Let's say you would have gotten in at, let's say, 1.3300. You could have easily gotten, gosh, 40 pips or so. Let's see what the height went. 40 pips or so, with relatively low risk trade. If you put your stop loss maybe down here, a few pips below this candle here, the second candle to close above the Bollinger Band, you would have been able to grab an easy 40 pips or so without a problem. So whenever the Bollinger Bands are tight like this together, they're squeezed together like this, you're going to want to look for some sort of breakout. And one way I like to do is look for at least two consecutive candles to close above the Bollinger Band. And then there's a very good chance the price is going to continue to go up. Okay, here on these two bounces I mentioned earlier, there was only one candle that closed above the Bollinger Band. See, this one was opened above it, but it came right back down and closed in the middle. And here, this one closed below it, but it didn't continue. It actually went back up and closed up here. So you may want to look for two consecutive candles to close above it, or conversely below it, and you might have a good breakout on your hands. Actually, you can see here you have one candle here that's closed below it. Now, I don't know if you would want to take this trade or not, but you see how this is it looks almost like a mini reversal candle, but it's not. It's closed below it, but it's very, very close to it. Personally, I probably wouldn't have taken that trade, but you know, entirely it's up to you according to your trading style. Now, if you had taken that trade, this candle closed below the Bollinger Band, put your stop loss a few pips, maybe 10, 20 pips up here, you would have actually been able to grab quite a few pips here. Um, so it's, you know, it works out sometimes. One other helpful tip too is to look for reversal candles. Let's scroll back just a little bit here. Look for some reversal candles on your Bollinger Bands, your dojis, that sort of thing. Here's a good example. There's a couple, they're not true dojis, but there's a couple candles here that indicate you've had one, two, three, four, five upward trending candles, and then you've got two here that are not, again, they're not true dojis, but they indicate that a reversal might be coming, and sure enough, the price goes back down and ultimately almost touches the bottom Bollinger Band. Um, Again, here you've seen an example where the candle closes below the Bollinger Band. The first one closes below, the second one does not, and sure enough, the price bounces back up to the upper Bollinger Band. Again, here it pierces it. One candle closes above it. The second candle closes above it too. You wouldn't have been able to get very many pips out of this one, maybe 20 or so. You know, if you waited up here with a larger stop loss, you would have gotten maybe an extra 10 or so, depending on, you know, your trading style. So, you know, you would definitely want to experiment with this method on a demo account. You can also feel free to change the settings. Those are just the default settings I like to use. Experiment with different time frames, try some different settings. You may want to add a different indicator like the RSI or that sort of thing to help you confirm some entries too. Again, you can trade strictly off these bands if you like. I prefer to use them to help me determine what the market might be doing at a particular time, and I don't always use this just strictly for entries. It helps confirm some things. So. And this is Brian with ForexTradeAlarm.com, and I hope that you have found this video helpful. We are going to be adding more videos to the members areas very soon, so keep an eye out for that. Thank you very much, and have a great day. Many pips ahead.